Okay, it's the 8th of April. It's a Wednesday. We've got about 30 minutes to the NY Open. Let me just check if sound is all good. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, let's start with the calendar. Okay, so we've got no news today. Later on, there is FOMC meeting minutes. That's not going to do anything. But there is no news today, right? So just like the last couple of days, there's absolutely no news during the NY session. Tomorrow is the big one, CPI, right? And we're going to be trading CPI. We're going to be trading the news, CPI, and then on Friday also, we've got PPI. So we should have decent volume tomorrow and Friday. Okay. All right, let's look at the daily. Let's just go up a time frame, look at the weekly very quickly. Now there are a couple of adjustments to these SR lines. I'm going to talk about them in a bit. But on the weekly, just to recap what I spoke about yesterday and the day before, previous weekly candle has rejected 3150, 3135 and pushed straight down. We've rejected 3100 as well, right? Price, it was too expensive. Gold was too expensive at these levels, at 3150, 3135 and 3100. It was way too expensive, so we rejected those areas. That's why there is a wick there at those areas and not a body. There's 800 pip, almost 780 pip wick there. And that's a liquidity grab from 3150 and 3135, and we're pushing down. Now I said this on Monday, Tuesday, that on the weekly, if you just look at just the weekly time frame and not consider any other time frames, and that's what you should be doing when you do your high time frame analysis. You should be looking at the time frames individually, right? What they tell you, what does that time frame tell you, right? So what does the weekly time frame tell us? It tells us that that gold is too expensive at 3150, 3135 and 3100. That's why there's a wick there across those three price levels. And this is the open of the candle. It opened around 3086. That's also an SR level. And then we rejected and we pushed all the way down, right? Now on the weekly time frame, we could be heading, there is no guarantee, but we could be heading to weekly demand. That's the next area of liquidity on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, this is the next area of liquidity, right? But obviously on the daily and the 4 hours, we'll find other levels of liquidity. Now on the weekly time frame, we could be heading to weekly support, which is around just above 2850. So we could be heading to 2882 and 2900 on the weekly time frame. Now, if you go to the daily time frame, yesterday also we had a massive candle. We've been having a lot of volume, right? So last Thursday we had a plus 1000 pip candle. On Friday we had a plus 1000 pip candle, and yesterday we almost had another 1000 pip candle. We got to about 980 pips, I think, 970. Now, yeah, about 980 pips yesterday, right? So we've got a huge amount of volume, right? Now, there are a couple of SR levels that I adjusted. Now I've said these levels, the levels at the top, they can be adjusted by 10 to 50 pips, right? So basically $1 to $5 adjustment is there on the levels that are above, because price is testing these and retesting these levels, right? The ones below are already confirmed because price has already tested them many times and pushed up, right? So the one that I adjusted was 3055. I think it was at 3058. I brought it to 3055 because we have a tap here and we have a tap here and we have a tap here. That's perfect. Those are perfect touches at this SR level, right? One here, one here, one here, and one here. That makes it 4. So that's a very It's a very important level right now, 3055, right? And it should continue to be important. Then I also brought in another level at 3016 because price has touched there here and almost here and then here a third time. So we have three touches there and possibly have a fourth touch here today as well, right? And then further down we've had these levels from uh, last week, from the previous week or the weeks before or the months before. 2979 has been there because it's tapped. Yeah, we've touched here, and then again we can see that we've touched this level today perfectly, 2979, and then we have a new level at 2956, just above 2950, just like this 3050, just above it. We have just above 2950, we have a weekly SR level that I put in today because of the two touches here and then the touch yesterday, right? Now, price is not random. I've always said this, price is never random. There's always a reason why. So when we go to the 30-minute time frame, you'll understand why 2956 is important, right? You'll understand it more clearly, why 2956 is important. But on the 30-minute time frame, it'll be a lot more clearer. But on the daily time frame, we can see three clear touches: one here, and then one here. Okay, so we seem to be on the daily time frame. We've gone past all of these demand levels. There is a rally base rally here. There was a rally base rally here, then a rally and a lot of basin candles and a push up here, rally here, and price has gone through all of them and has closed below them, right? So we are pushing down. We just probably need another liquidity grab, and then we should continue to push down. Okay, let's go to our trading chart. Before we draw our zones, let's just take a look at the trade that we took yesterday or any trade ideas that I gave out yesterday. So yeah, I took sells, if I remember correct. Yeah, we took sells, yes. So we took sells just above 3031.61. I entered maybe around here. There was a partial TP level 3014 or 3013. Then the next TP level was at 3002, and the one after that was, I think, 2996, right? So we got, and then a further one was 2986. Was it 2986? No, it was 2979. Sorry, 2979 was the next one. 2979. Yeah. So yesterday's stream we had four levels. 3014, 3013. You could have taken any one of them. 3002, 2996, and 2979. Those are TP levels, and price tapped all of them, right? So I entered somewhere here. I got out. I took partial positions here at around 185 pips. Then further down here, 300 pips, and then I think we went down. I think I got out there. I got out at around 300 pips, but price continued to push down because a lot of volume. We continue to push down another 400 pips because we've been having a lot of volume. Yeah, almost 450 pips after 3002, right? And that was the trade. So that was the idea. That was the trade. It worked out. I said if it doesn't work out, and those were the last, if you listen to the last 5 minutes or last 5 to 7 minutes of the stream, you would have heard me say if these don't work out, then wait for 30 minutes support to form at a liquidity candle, or wait for a pullback higher up here, 30-minute resistance to form at a liquidity level, and then take the trade. But it did work out, so there was no trade after that, okay? Because price just continued to push down for the rest of the day, and then this is the end of the day and then the Asian session, right? Okay, so now let's discuss this price level 2956, the daily tap here, and you can see how price has come there. I would consider that a touch because that's just a pip or less than a pip, and price pushed up, right? 2956, because that's a daily level. There's a weekly SR level right here. There are two taps here, and price did touch here, right? And we pushed up. We've tapped that level and pushed up 580, almost 600 pips. Okay. So let's get rid of all of these and we start our process again. Yeah, we headed to the Asian low. So that's what price did, right? So if you were in the trade, you could have got out at 2979 or even the just above the Asian low because of the lot of volume, right? It's just a unusual amount of volume the last 3 days. I mean, yeah, Thursday, Friday, and then sorry, today is Tuesday. Sorry, today is Tuesday. Yeah, I was wondering how it was when today is Tuesday. So yesterday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, we've had a lot of volume. So this is Thursday, Friday, Monday. So today is Tuesday, not Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. 956 979 016. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. All right, let's start our zones. So we have a rally, 3 basin candles, and a drop, a clean drop. That's a pretty obvious zone, right? Now this price has come inside this zone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get rid of this zone and make this into one zone. Okay. Let's get rid of this liquidity candle also. All right. So the numbers on this is 548, 551. So keep this label on the side. Okay, let's take a look at this on the 1 hour as well because price has crossed a weekly SR level. Let's just go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, that's good. Close 551. Yeah, and we've tapped it already. It's a massive zone. It's a 390 pip zone. Be interesting to see how many liquidity candles we find there. Okay. In terms of demand, that's the only supply level that we have on the 4-hour. Demand, we have a drop, we have a base here, and we have a push up. Okay. So let's mark that as well. Again, I'm going to go down to the 1 hour time frame because we've got a weekly SR level right there. You always need to check, and that would be a base. This would be the source, a rally base rally, and then price came into that and created demand again, right? So we're going to include that demand. Yeah, I'm going to keep it on the 1 hour time frame. This would be the open 682, low 656, 682, 6. Okay. Yeah, so we have demand here and we have supply here. Yeah, that was the drop, 970 pip drop, and we have a 280 pip. Okay, great. So we're just going to extend these to the right. We're very bearish and we can be coming through them, right? And I'm going to draw this zone here as well. Rally, base, rally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 base in candles and a rally. Just have a quick look at that on the 1 hour. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's the leg in, and that would be the leg out. And all of these are in between because this candle has come all the way up here. 225, 617. Yeah, that's good for now. That too is a 4-hour demand zone. Okay, let's extend this to the right as well. Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look at these new zones that we've drawn. We have a new supply zone here, a new demand zone here, and a new one here that we identified, right? We're going to take a look at those 3 zones and see if they are high liquidity zones. Let's start with supply because that's where price is very close to right now. So there is a rally, this base and this drop did take out this demand. There is a drop and a rally here. There is a base there on probably 30-minute time frame, and that's taken out here. So this is a high liquidity zone, right? This demand zone here for a demand zone, we're going to see if that has taken out. Let's go down to the 30-minute time frame. And yes, we have a drop base and a drop, and price has taken out this supply, this supply here, 30-minute supply here. Yeah. Is there anything on the 1 hour? Yeah, it's a drop, base drop, kind of a. This could be a leg out, and that could be a base in candle that was taken out here. Yeah. So this too is a high liquidity zone. It's better on the 30-minute. It's more visible on the 30-minute. You have a drop, base drop. Now, I don't go beyond the 30-minute time frame when trying to identify high liquidity zones, right? That's the lowest time frame that I go to when trying to identify high liquidity zones. Okay. Okay, then we have a new zone here. This was from, this is a very old zone that we had not drawn. We're going to see if that's a high liquid. Probably is. Probably is. Yeah, so this zone here took out this supply. You can see the move up. There's a rally. There'll be a base on the 30-minute probably. And then the drop. There's a rally and a drop on the 1 hour. And there has to be supply there. And this move up took out those highs, right? So this too is a high liquidity zone. Okay. Right, now, we're going to take a look at this area. The next step is to look for a high liquidity candle. Prices pushing down. We already spoke about it. The weekly is pushing down. The weekly hasn't closed yet, but if you look at the previous weekly, we are pushing down. Daily is pushing down, and the 4 is moving up, right? The 4 is moving up, but the weekly and the daily is moving down. So the 1 hour also should be pushing up. Yeah, the 1 hour and the 4 is pushing up. The daily and the weekly is pushing down. So we're going to be a little bit careful today because we don't want to get caught in a range. Okay. So let's take a look at this area. Well, I'm looking for the largest bearish candle, right? Let's start with the 1 hour. So 300 pip candle. Yeah, let's start with that. That's a good place to start. Let's go down to the 30-minute. It's 205 pip candle. 169. Massive wick. Let's go to the 15-minute. It's this candle right here, 326 pip candle. Yesterday's candle. Let's check the 5-minute. Yeah, that candle right there. $121, $144. Yeah. Let's push down to 328 pip push down. 290 pip push down. Yeah, I'm going to go with that candle. 5-minute candle. 3026, 583. That's exactly where price is right now, and we've tapped it perfectly. Yeah, perfect tap. This was London session. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Right. Now, Let's look at demand. We still have time. We have plenty of time. I always wait for the first 15-minute candle to close of the NY Open. We've got another 4 minutes to the NY Open, and then another 15 minutes after that. So we've got about almost 20 minutes. Okay, let's take a look at. So if price breaks this high, we should be pushing to 30, the next liquidity level, 3050. Okay. I might even consider the entire wick. I'd consider the entire wick up to the wick there. Yeah, I might consider the entire wick there, up to the wick there. Okay. Let's look at demand. If price pushes down, we've got, let's take a look at this area. Now, again, price has gone past 3,000. That's a psychological round number or a BRN. We have to look at the lower time frame and look for a zone there. And there is one, so we can't ignore that. It's a rally, two basin candles and a rally. Let's look at the 30-minute quickly. Yeah, a rally, basin candles, and this would be the leg out. Yeah. So let's put the price there. Open is 102. This low is 087. 102.087. Nice. It's visible on the 1 hour, so that would be make it 1 hour demand. Just give me a second. Okay. Is this a high liquidity zone? On the 1 hour, I don't see anything taken out. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. No, it's not taken out anything on the 30-minute either. So it's push-ups taken out these highs. No, I'm not going to mark it a high liquidity zone because it's not taken out. It's taken out these highs, this rally-based drop, possibly taken out. Yeah, you can argue that it's taken out these highs. There is a rally, two basin candles, and a drop. And this push-up that started here, that dipped down and pushed up, took out these highs. So yeah, we can say it's a high liquidity zone. Call it a high liquidity zone. Okay, so now we've got a new zone. We've got one more zone. Let's take a look at these two areas and look for a high liquidity candle. Yeah, here there is this 1 hour candle that engulfs the entire zone. It's a 120 pip candle. Let's start with that. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. It's still that candle right there. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. $85, 172. Let's take a look at the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, 87. That one right there. Perfect tap. 725, 869. Okay. Further down, the largest candle would be maybe this one, 166 pips. Yeah. look at the 30-minute time frame. $175, $157. Let's go to the 15. $122. $169. Let's look at the 5-minute time frame. There's nothing on the 5-minute. Yeah, I'm going to go with the 30-minute time frame because we have a tap into this. 375,656. Okay. NY open. This is the NY open. I'm going to wait for the first 15-minute candle to close. All right. Now, let's look further down. Okay, let's not worry about this. We can do this. We have plenty of time for that tomorrow. Price has to get through all these liquidity areas to get down here. And there's plenty of it. Okay, right. Now let's take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. That might help us have a better idea of what price could possibly do in the first couple of hours of the NY Open. Okay, let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Just give me a second. Okay, yeah. Let's see where the market opened. Okay, that's the market open right there. So the market opened at 2982. Okay, So in the Asian session, price moved 260 pips, and in the London session, we moved 200 pips, right? 260 Asian, 200 London, right? So let's take a closer look at this. The market opened here. We were bearish before that, but towards the end of the NY session, price formed 30-minute support, created this liquidity candle, right, and pushed up. Okay, we created the liquidity candle. We came to 2956 weekly SR level. We created a liquidity candle at that SR level, and we pushed up. Now I would consider this a touch, right? Because it's just a point or a pip, yeah, just a few pips away, one, two, 3 pips doesn't make a difference. I would consider that a touch um, at 2956. Now, price created a liquidity candle, and it was pushing up. So the market opened here, came, tapped 2979. So price pushed up the pre yesterday to 2979, rejected it, and then later the market opened here. Okay, so we came, tapped 2979, created the Asian low, went straight up to 3000, right? Because we got many levels here because of the amount, because price has been moving a lot because of the high volume. We are getting to these weekly SR levels very quickly. Now these levels are not too close to each other, they're quite far. That's 160 pips away. That is 209 pips away. That's 220 pips away. But price is getting there very quickly because of a lot of volume, right? So we tapped 2979, created the Asian low, went and tapped 3000, closed above it, ranged there, created the Asian high above it, came back, tapped the liquidity candle. On the way up, price created a liquidity candle here, tapped it again, pushed up back to the Asian high, closed above it, continued up to 3016. That's the next SR level. Created the London high, rejected 3016, pushed back to the Asian high, ranged, closed below, came, tapped 3000, came back to the liquidity candle for a second time. This is the second time, closed above the Asian high, and has now closed above the London high and above 3016, and we are at a liquidity candle. Now this liquidity candle has been tapped in the London session, and it doesn't matter because it's been tapped now anyway, right? We've tapped it already in pre-NY. We've already tapped it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I want to see 30-minute resistance form, a 30-minute, so 3 things that I want to see. 30-minute resistance needs to form, right? They can all happen with one candle, or they can happen with 2 different candles, or they can happen with 3 different candles, right? But there are 3 things that need to be checked for me to take sells. Number 1, 30-minute resistance has to form, right? Because we've tapped the liquidity candle, I want to see 30-minute resistance form. That can be a doji, a bearish doji, it can be a tradable candle, it doesn't matter. 30-minute resistance has to form. Number 2, if it is a bearish doji, then I have to wait for a 30-minute bear candle to close. Number 3, I want to see a 30-minute candle close or a 15-minute bear candle. After those 2 things have happened, I want to see either that same 30-minute candle close below 3016 or a 15-minute candle close below 3016, right? After those first 2 things have happened, 3016. Then I'll take sells. If we close below, if you reject the London high, then we'll be coming down to 3000. That's about 150 pip drop down, and then further to the liquidity candle. That's about 190 pip down, right? Another 40 pips below. So that's the trade that I'm looking for, right? Very simple, very straightforward. Not simple. There's nothing simple about trading. It's very straightforward, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Very clearly, I've explained exactly what I'm waiting for. 3 things. I want to see 3 things. 30-minute resistance, a tradable 30-minute bear candle must close, and then either the same 30-minute candle or a 15-minute candle after that to close below 3016. a tradable 15-minute back candle to close below 3016 to take sells. Then I'll wait for the pullback, take the sells, coming to 3000. Right, that's the first TP level, and then further down, 2996 will be the next TP level, and then further will be 2979, and then further one here, 2966. Absolutely no buys because very simple. Price is at supply. Very simple. That's the easiest way to eliminate one side of the argument, right? When price is in supply, you do not buy. When price is in demand, you do not sell. Right? So absolutely no buys. I'm waiting for sells, and I've exactly said what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see three things. And until those three things happen, I'm not doing anything. If those things don't happen, then I'm not going to take a trade. Very simple, right? Um, then we'll have to see maybe in about an hour and a half from now where the 30-minute candles are closing and how are they closing. We'll have to re-look at the analysis in about an hour and a half from now. But for now, from what the analysis we've done, we've spent the last 35 minutes analyzing the charts. That's the prep work. That is the most important thing that you need to do when you want to trade. You got to come to the charts 30 minutes before, and you got to do your prep work. If you don't do that, do not take a trade. Then you're just gambling. Then you're just um, you're just flipping a coin, and you're expecting for it to fall in your favor. But you got to do your prep work, you do your analysis, you got to be ready for the NY Open, like we've done today, like we've been doing every day the last several months, and then we wait for an opportunity. Just trying to see where price could come to. There's no bottom wick here, so we're coming down. We should come down. Tap that. If we come down, we should tap this. Sorry, let me rephrase that. We're not. There is no confirmation that we're coming down, but if price pushes down, we should come below this candle. But I don't think we're going to come down here. I think price is going to push up further. Going to push up further. Yeah, we're going to push up further. Hmm. $3027. 3027 should be coming to 3027. Yeah, 3027. Price should be coming to 3027. That's about 100 pips. Yeah, we should be coming down. We should be coming up there. We shouldn't break this high. If price breaks this high, we're heading high. We're heading to another 150, 60 pips. We're going to 3050 or 3055. We shouldn't break this high. Let's put a price level 3038. Right. So price shouldn't break this high. Let's see. Let's wait for the 30-minute candle to close. I want to get in. If I take sells, I want to get in as high up as possible because that's a very wide stop loss. It's a very wide stop loss. Wow. It's got to be careful. No top wick. No top wick. It's got to be very careful when candles 15. Yeah, so the candle opened and dropped. It didn't create, just opened here and dropped straight down 90 pips. But We should be going up. You got to be very careful with candles like this. 50-minute candle, no top wick. Either this current candle will come break this high, or the next one is going to come further up. Yeah, we should be pushing up. Let's see how this 30-minute candle is going to close. It's got 6 minutes more. Let's wait. Let's wait for the last minute of the candle, right? And then see this high as 955. This high is 940. This opened at 15. This candle right here. Yeah, it's going to wait for the 30-minute candle to close. Let's see. We'll wait for the last 2 minutes before the candle closes, on last minute and a half, and then see if we should be looking. We should consider sells, but let's wait. There's still plenty of time for the candle to close. This candle has no top wick. Price should come back all the way up. Wow, 153 pip drop. Look at that 15-minute candle. Sheesh, 143 pips. It's crazy amount of volume on gold. Crazy volume. 140 pip candle. Okay, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're going to wait for the candle to close. Okay, 30-minute candle is closing bearish. Should be closing bearish unless it pushes back all the way in the next minute. There's no top wick. Should close a tradable candle. 55423. That's, yeah. This should close a tradable candle. Let's see if it pushes up further up, then maybe not. But this, if it closes here, it should be good. Should be good. Should be good if it closes here. But I want to pull back. I want to pull back and then take a trade to come down. If price doesn't pull back, I'm not getting in because the stop loss is way too wide to chase price here. It's way too wide. Okay, so we rejected the London high, we've closed below it, we should be coming down to the London low. Let's put a, what's this low? Yeah. 2995. Yeah, 2096 is better. Hmm. Yeah, so we should be coming down to 3,000, 2996, and then 2989, and if it has more volume, 2979, right? We should be coming down, but I'm not taking any sells. I'm waiting for that pullback because this candle has no top wick. We could, at any point, price could come deep above this high or above this candle high to grab liquidity to head down. Now remember, this is the liquidity candle, right? It goes all the way up to here. In fact, I'm having my liquidity candle up to 3038. I'm going to extend it to 3038, so that's even larger because I want to get that wick in, right? That's a 5-minute candle up to here. It's based off the 5-minute candle, right? But I want to get that wick in. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. So that's a very large move. So I want price to come deep in. Otherwise, I'm not taking any sells. This is a tradable 30-minute candle. All three conditions that I said have been met with one candle. I said I'm waiting for 30-minute resistance to form. It's formed. I said I need to see a 30-minute tradable back candle close. We have that, the same candle. And I said I need to see a 30-minute candle close or a 15-minute back and tradable back candle close below 3016, and that's happened too. So all three conditions have been met with one single 30-minute candle, which is great. That just shows that how much volume. There's a lot of volume in the market. That 30-minute candle is 160 pip candle. that single 30-minute candle, right? But I'm not going to take a trade here with a 200 plus pip stop loss, obviously, 250 pip stop loss. I'm waiting for the pullback to take the trade to come down, right? If it doesn't, if it drops from here, so be it. That's fine. I've got no problems with that. But I'm waiting up here. I want sells from above. Some traders don't do that. They take the breakout. That's entirely up to them. That's okay. But I wait for the pullback, and the reason I wait for the pullback because it gives me a better entry. Better entry will always mean two things: lower risk, higher RR. Right? A better entry will always mean two things: lower risk and a higher RR. So price is coming up. Let's see what it does. Yeah, I'm willing to take a trade here just above this 15-minute high. Yeah. And maybe one here. This high, 85, 86, 87. Yeah. So I'm going to take in a trade, an entry, I placed a pending order here, 30, roughly around 3016. Then above this high, 56, modify. Yeah, just above the high there. And if we come further up, then we'll have to find a way to manage risk because there are no candles up here. We'll have to wait for candles to close to manage risk. Yeah, I think we're coming deeper. That's okay. I'm willing to wait until here, 3027. In fact, I'm going to place a pending order there, 3027 also. Yeah, 3027. Got a pending order there as well. The reason I can't say anything about managing risk above here, above 3016, or sorry, above 3017.5, is because there is just clean space here. There's a clean candle. There is no candles here. If there was candles up here, price had come up here and then push down, then we can manage risk. If we get into these trades, we can manage risk. But there is nothing. If we break here, we're very likely coming further up. So we got to let price come into the body of this candle at least. Yeah, let's see. Pending orders 3016 and 3017.5. 3016, 3017.5. Yeah, stop loss would be, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see because stop loss, the ideal stop loss is above the candle high. Let's put the 5-minute candle back here, this high 3026. That would be the stop loss. It's quite wide, but that's how the zones are. The zones are very wide. Look at that. That's a 5-minute candle. And that candle is 144 pips, that 5-minute candle. So the stop loss is that candle basically, at the high of that candle. 30.26. That's the stop loss. But we'll have to find a way. Let's see, as price, if we get entry, then we'll have to find a way to manage risk before price goes and hits that stop loss. Okay, so just waiting. Conditions are met for sells, but I'm waiting for the pullback. And if there is no pullback, then there is no trade for me. If price just decides to tap this T2 area, 311, 311.57, and then continue to drop, so be it. There's nothing I can do about that. We should be coming up. We should come up. We should be coming further up. So yeah, so this is a rejection, a strong rejection from the 5-minute candle. So it should come down, grab liquidity, and come up further up. Yeah, we're coming up. Yeah. Looks like we're coming down. We have tapped 311.3011.5, rejected it. We could be coming down to 3,000. Yeah, but I'm not taking any trades. This is the place I want to get in on a trade. Up here. If price comes there, I take a trade. If it doesn't, then that's it. There is no trade for me. Yesterday was something very similar. Yesterday was something very, very similar. Price dropped. Yeah. And then later on pushed up, came here, I took an entry, and then we continued to drop. We came back again. Then again we dropped another 800 pips after this high. Price came further deeper into that M15 fib that we had drawn. It came much deeper in. And then we dropped 800 pips from there. Yeah. We could continue down. We could continue down, but I'm gonna wait. Should come above this. We should come above these highs. Should come above these highs. We should be coming up, further up. Just got to be patient and wait. Pushing down now. Filling this wick to come down. Another 7.5 minutes for the candle to close. 62 pips. There still is volume. 36. Yeah. There is volume, but no pullback to the level that I was waiting at, that I'm waiting at. If we close below the Asian high, then that's it. Then we're coming straight down. We might pull back later on, similar to what price did yesterday. We might pull back later on. This is with the 4-hour candle, with the new 4-hour candle open. That could happen, but that's a whole hour. It's over an hour from now, an hour 6 minutes from now. So that's a long time for that. But right now, yeah, it's a doji. It's no information. Yeah, we should be coming up. We should be coming up. Yeah. But all depends on how this candle closes. If it closes back up a doji, then we're coming further up, and then we're going to push down later on. I'm not worried about this. I'm just going to wait at my levels. That's where I'm willing to take a trade. Anything above this 3016 area, anything above here is where I want to take a trade to come down. And that's why I'm going to wait. If price doesn't and it just continues to push down today, that's okay. It's no problem. I'll be back in about 2-3 minutes. We still have about 5.5 minutes for the candle to close. Um, I've got pending orders there. Doesn't seem like we're going to come up. I think we're going to push down. We tapped this T2 level. That's a top up 2 level on my fib, 311.5. These levels are not random. They are there for a specific. They are there for specific reasons because price does come and react to them. If you've been on my streams and watched the way I trade, then you'll see that these fib levels get tapped pretty often, right? And price came, it rejected 3011.5, and it pushed down another 80, 90 pips, another 90 pips, right? I'm still going to leave my pending orders there. If it comes up, great. If it doesn't, then price continues for the rest of the day down. That's okay. I always wait for the pullback, and I always wait for a better price. Does it work every time? No, of course it doesn't. All right. And if it does work, does that mean I'm going to have a guaranteed win? Of course not. I don't know the outcome. No one knows the outcome of a trade. All I can do is try as per the way I trade, the style I trade. I look for low risk, high reward, high probability trades, right? And to do that, then I need to always look for a better price, and better price based on price action, not based on what I feel or what I think, but based on price action. So this is based on price action. The reason I'm waiting up here is because that's the Asian high. Price hasn't come back to this liquidity candle. This candle has no top wick. So price could come up to 3016 to the Asian high, tap the Asian high, and then push down again, right? That is why I'm waiting at the Asian high and then an order just above the candle with the 15-minute candle that has no top wick, right? And then if we come deeper, then further at 3027. And the reason 3027 is because that's 5-minute. If you go to the 5-minute time frame, that is where the supply level is. There's a 5-minute perfect supply level because that's at the end of that the liquidity candle, the 5-minute liquidity candle that we identified, and the end of that candle is 3030.26, right? So that's the reason. It's a very logical. It's a very price action based logical reason that that I've placed my orders at, right? A level that I've placed my orders at. If it doesn't come there, if it doesn't work today, that's fine. But I will do, it's the same, it's the same kind of analysis and the same logic that I follow every day with my entries, with my stop losses, with my risk management, and with my partial close TP levels, right? It's the same price action based logic that I follow for everything. And on some days I may get trades, on some days I won't. That's okay. And on the days that I don't get trades, I'm glad because I didn't lose any, I didn't risk anything, and therefore I didn't lose anything. Okay, 2 minutes more for the candle close. We're going to be closing bearish. We're very likely going to close below the Asian high. Once we close below the Asian high, we should continue down easily to 2996. Okay. Um, just didn't get an entry today. Price didn't come up to the level that I was waiting at. Okay. Be back in a couple of minutes. No bottom wick. Yeah, no bottom wick here. But we've closed below the Asian high. So we should continue down. another 87, 90 pips, another 90 pips to 2996, close below the Asian high. Unfortunately, this candle didn't pull back enough. This wick, I wanted it to pull back here, at least here, 3015, 3014.5, somewhere here. If it did pull back, then I may have considered taking a trade. But this is too far away. Yeah, I closed this trade here, 3016. I've got the other one open because if you do pull back now, then we're coming, very likely we're coming a lot deeper into this liquidity candle. If we pull back now, because price has already moved and closed below the Asian high. So that's a reason. So understand the reason why I've closed this trade, because now we've closed below this. So there is no reason for price to come back up unless it needs a lot more liquidity. It cannot continue down, so it needs more liquidity to continue down, right? To 3000 and to then to 2996 and to then 2989. So if it doesn't do it now, that means it doesn't have enough liquidity to do that. So which means then, since we've closed below the Asian high, it should continue down, right? But if it can't do that, then it means there isn't enough volume for price to push down. So it needs to grab more liquidity. So then price could come up and could come much deeper in to grab liquidity to push down. And that is why I took off this order. I still have this order at, where is this? 3017.57 or 3017.5, and then one order up here, right? That's the 15-minute candle that doesn't have a top wick. That's where the pending order is to come down. That might happen when the new 4-hour candle opens like yesterday, or it might not. And price might just continue to come down. If that happens, then there is no trade today for me. Anyway, just like I said yesterday. Yesterday we were. It was, I think, there was a lot of volume and price played out pretty well in our favor. But just like I said yesterday, um, focus on Thursday, Friday, right? Those are the big days. CPI, PPI, those are the big days. Focus on Thursday, Friday. On Thursday, we're going to be looking at 5-minute structure, 5-minute support resistance, and 5-minute entries for CPI. On Friday, it's going to be back to normal. We're going to be looking at a 30-minute and 50-minute time frame, but there are 2 days of the month, NFP and CPI. In those 2 days, we look at the 5-minute time frame for entries. Okay. So if there, I'm going to be here for another maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, another 20 minutes. Let's see. Wait for another 15 to 20 minutes for the candle to kind of form. 30-minute candle to form. Let's see how this candle is going to close. We'll have to wait for at least another 20 minutes to see how it's going to close. It's going to close back bullish above the Asian high, try to push back up, or are we going to reject and close below to continue to push down? Yeah, and then depending on that, I'll give out, depending on where this candle is likely to close, I'll give out a trade idea or two. But we have to wait for the candle. We've got to wait until the last maybe 4 or 5 minutes of the candle before, because what I'm looking for, I'm just trying to see, is price going to continue down? If it's going to continue down, and it's not going to pull back up, there are no signs of it pulling back, trying to pull back up, and it's going to continue down, then you want to be looking for probably a buy, 30-minute support to form and a buy from here, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's just wait for another 15, 16 minutes before we decide what to do. Pushing up past this high, 30-minute high, 294. Yeah, broke the high. Look at the 5-minute. Yeah, that was, here we go. I might look to take a sell now. Okay, I took a sell there, 3016, just above 3016. We should be coming further up. I've taken one there. There's one just above this. Let's push this further close. 784. Trigger both? Yeah, I triggered both. Oof. Pulled that trade further down. Anyway, it's coming further up. Now, how are we going to manage risk on this? The 15-minute candle is 200 almost, yeah, getting close to 200 pips, pushing up. That's fine. It has to push up. It has to push up. No. This is where we're waiting at. 3000 and then 2996, right? 3000. Yeah, so this is about 160 pips and this is 215 pips, okay? Now we got to find a way to manage risk on this trade. The 50-minute candle is closing above these levels. That's fine, that's expected. Because we got to, as I said, we got to allow price to come into the body of this candle, right? Let it come, let it form structure, then we'll see how we can manage risk. Obviously, this is the stop loss level, 30.26. It is a fairly wide stop loss. There's about 139 pips, but we are expecting about 160, 200, and then further down 270 pips of it, right? Yeah, 2996, 2989. Yeah. It's going to wait for the 15-minute candle to close. 43 minutes for the 4-hour candle to close. We'll have to wait. It's going to wait for this 30-minute, for the 15-minute candle to close. When the 15-minute candle closes, that'll be the close of 30 minutes. Then we'll have structure. Then we'll have a 30-minute high, and then we will have a better idea of how to manage risk on this trade, right? The reason I can't, don't have, I explained very clearly, the reason I can't manage risk yet is because there is no candle up here at this body where there is candle structure and I can manage risk at that candle. I don't have anything up here. So we got to wait for maybe the 30-minute candle to close. Once we have the 30-minute candle closes, we're going to have a 30-minute high. And then we can maybe manage risk at the 30-minute high. If price breaks the high, maybe we can think of a 15-minute candle closes above that area, then we can look at managing risk. But until then, we're going to keep it. But we've got a stop loss here at 30.26. It's a 180 pip 15-minute candle. Whoa. Got to, we spoke about this on Thursday and Friday, and I don't know, I mentioned it yesterday. I did mention it yesterday as well. The candles are massive, therefore your zones are massive. Therefore your stop loss is going to be huge, right? It's been happening since Thursday, Friday, then on Monday, yesterday, we saw this 3 consecutive days. We're still seeing it. Look, this is not normal. 180 pip 15-minute candle is not normal. 5-minute candles are 140 pip candles, 5 minutes. So you got to reduce your risk. So we spoke about this, that if you are trading risking 1% or 2%, cut that by maybe 50% or cut even more, maybe cut 60%, cut your positions by 60, 70% and take a smaller risk now because you have larger zones. So which means you are going to have to hold a bit of drawdown like what's happening right now. You got to, because there is no structure further up. We have to wait for a 15-minute structure to form. Let's see if you have structure here to the right. Maybe. Yeah, 3022 is a good area. Three zero two three. Let's see if you're going to push down. 3022, 3023. These are two good areas for look for 15-minute candle closes, right? And I'll explain why in a second. Okay, so 3023. Just zoom in a bit. You can see price tapping 3023. Closed above, we rejected, closed below, tap closed above, close below, close back above. Yeah, 3023 is a good area. Let's get rid of 22. Yeah, closed above. So 3023 is a decent area, right? If we close above 3022 or 23, I'm going to put that back on 3022 as well. If a 15-minute candle closes back above, right? So it struggled. Now here there is nothing because this is the 30-minute resistance where 30-minute resistance formed. But here to the left, because there is clean space coming down, clean space going up. But to the left of that, we have 15-minute support and resistance. We have an SR level, the lower time frame SR level. So candles struggled to close whenever they closed above, they came back, they tapped it, went back, we closed below, we closed back above, we closed below, we came back, closed back above, then we closed below. So if we close back above 3022 or maybe even 3023, a 15-minute candle closes above, let's say 3023, right? 3023 I think is a better level. There's a lot of noise here. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, 3023 is better, right? It's cleaner on the 30-minute. So we have a candle close below, close back above, close below, close above, close below, close above, then tapped it again, then we close below. So if a 15-minute candle closes above 3023, that's when I close everything. That means we're coming deeper in, I close everything. Okay, that's how you use price action based logic to manage risk. So that's what I try to do every day. Sometimes I fail, but that's okay. It's we are human, we make mistakes, but you got to every step of your trade, your entries, your risk management, your stop loss, your partial close TP levels, your final TP level, everything has to be based off something that you can replicate every day, not a feeling. You can't have a TP level at a feeling, right? Where I feel like I'll close partial positions here. I feel like I'll put my stop loss here. I feel like I'll enter here because price is already moving. I feel like I'll enter here. It's got to be based off price action. If you're a price action trader, then it's got to be based off price action. If you're using an indicator, then it's got to be based off some sort of an indicator. But everything, it has to be, you have to be able to replicate that every day. Yeah, we're coming down. Let's see, look at the 15-minute candle. If this candle ideally needs to close back below 3016, below the Asian high. If we close below, because we closed above, we closed above, we closed below, we closed above, we closed below. If we close below, then the next one could break the low and come back down. If we close above, then we're heading higher. All right, we're heading higher. But how I'm going to manage risk on this trade is 3023. That's my level, 3023. If a 15-minute candle closes above that, that means price is coming deeper into this liquidity candle. Then I'm not going to hold. I'm not going to hold drawdown. I'm going to close my trade, right? TP levels. I said it right at the beginning. TP levels, partial close levels, 3,000, because you want to have your TP levels at liquidity areas. That's where you want to enter trades, and that's where you want to exit trades, right? Your entries and exits should be based off liquidity areas. So the opposing liquidity levels, if you entered at liquidity area, which is a weekly SR level or a liquidity candle, then you want to get out at the opposite liquidity areas, right? So we've got 3,000, that's a liquidity level. That's why we have a partial TP there. Then we have a liquidity candle, and also the London low. So that's around 2996. That's another partial close level. And then further at the bottom of that liquidity candle, because if we come through this, then we're going to come to break that liquidity candle, right? So that is why I have a partial position taken. I'll take out at 289, 2989. I think that's about 300, yeah, 290, 285, 290 pips if you get there. I'm waiting for the 15-minute candle to close. I would like to see a candle close below this, below the Asian high. Maybe then I'll possibly even if it does close, if there's a tradable bear candle close with a bottom wick. If there's no bottom wick, then we could be pushing back up all the way, right? But if there is a bottom wick, if you leave a bottom wick for price to, for the next candle to trade into, then I might consider opening another position if on the pullback. One minute more. I've been here for 2 hours already. Yeah. Okay, so I need to end the stream now, but I've mentioned the TP levels. I've mentioned why I took this trade, how I'm going to manage risk. So I'm waiting for a 15-minute candle close above 3023. I'm going to close everything. And then the trade idea for later on are sells, not buys, sells. No buys, sells. Okay, it's very straightforward, sells. But if this doesn't work out, just like yesterday, if this doesn't work out, price pulls back up, wait for 30-minute resistance to form to take a trade to come down. 30-minute resistance form and a 30-minute tradable back handle close. Yeah, we could take another entry here if price pulls back. There is a, it did close with a bottom wick. Yeah, let's take another position there. Maybe one more. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the end of the stream. If a 15-minute candle closes above 3023, I'm closing everything, right? Yeah. So instead of taking a 140 pip loss, I'll take a 60 pip loss, right? About less than half of 60 pip loss. But a 15-minute candle needs to close above 3023. And the reason for that I've explained very clearly, because we have 30-minute, a 15-minute and 30-minute SR level, right? You can see it's clear on the 30-minute. 3023, candles closed below, closed back above, closed below, closed above, closed below, closed above. Then we tap this area, came, closed below, and we're trying to tap that and come back down. Okay, so TP levels 3000, 2996, 2989, and then if there is volume, 2979, right? I don't know if there's going to be that much volume. That's a 400 pip drop. Let's see if you can get there, but you can have a TP level at 2979 as well. Okay, if these cells don't work out, one single trade idea, sells. Wait for price to come deep in, 30-minute resistance to be created at the liquidity candle or at another liquidity level. It could be the liquidity candle, it could be the BRN 3050 or the weekly SR level 3055. Wait for 30-minute resistance to form, a 30-minute tradable back candle to close. Stop loss will go above the 30-minute candle high that formed resistance. If it's inside the liquidity candle, then the stop loss would go above here, above 3038.25, right? And your TP levels are the ones that you see here. Okay, that's it. All right, see you guys tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST, and we will do our prep work and then see if we have a trade to be that we can take during the first 2 hours of the NY session, NY Open. All right, take care. Don't overtrade, don't over risk. Think of Thursday, Friday. That's when you want to, probably look to take some good trades. Hopefully, we'll have volume and clean direction on Thursday, Friday. There is no guarantee, but we should have, because from what we've seen since last Thursday, Friday, and Monday, last 3 days, there should be volume for CPI as well. All right. So take care. Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. See you tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST.